This week we're discussing Nintendo and backwards compatibility. There's a new Steam Deck dock on the horizon that can make your deck cooler, and we're discussing Google Stadia. So let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and take it out! Welcome to another Sensational Sunday. I'm Mike and I'm here to talk about the gaming news. Let's hop right into it today with Nintendo. So Nintendo had a financial briefing on Wednesday and Miyamoto was discussing backward compatibility. Basically, he went on to say backwards compatibility now is easier to do than ever because before you had specialized hardware and now everything is kind of based around the same architecture. So it's just a lot easier to do than it was previously. Before you would have had to emulate those games, which would have been difficult because emulation, the hardware has to be significantly more powerful than the original hardware to do that. Going forward, they're probably still going to be in the same architecture. Like the Switch is ARM-based now, so their new system, I would assume, is probably going to use another NVIDIA ARM-based chip. It's probably going to have some kind of upscaling technology so they can do 4K finally. And we can assume that they're probably not going to switch to x86 like the Steam Deck or the PS5 or the Xbox because it's not as efficient for battery life. So basically what it is whatever system they have going forward, it's probably going to be similar architecture, so it'll probably be easier to bring those games forward. However, he went on to say that their focus is going to be on new gaming experiences for their new console and not really focusing on backward compatibility. So what I took from it is not so much that they're not going to do backwards compatibility, because at this point, with the Switch being their first real digital system, and I mean, like, yes, they had digital sales on the Wii and Wii U, but when the Wii came out, that generation was kind of the start of buying digital games or consoles. They kind of got away with shutting down that store and those purchases just living on the Wii. I know some of them came forward to the Wii U, and then the Wii U sold so poorly that those purchases didn't really matter as much to bring forward to the Switch. But I think with the Switch, a lot of these games being available digitally, especially like the Pokemon games, stuff like that, you can't really make a new system without at least being able to play the Switch games digitally. I mean, ideally, they would have just a cartridge slot or use the same style cartridges as the Switch, so you could just put those games in the new system. But I don't think they make a new system at this point without backwards compatibility with the Switch, at least considering how well it's sold. It's already sold like 114 million consoles. So if you want people to buy the next one, then yeah, you're gonna have to have that. And I know it kind of bit them with the Wii U, but it wasn't really the backwards compatibility, it was really the name, that they used the same Wii name and it was confusing and everybody thought it was just the same system and it technically ran Wii games. So yeah, it really wasn't the backwards compatibility that messed up the Wii U, it was really the name and the marketing. Either way, it's kind of hard to tell what Nintendo is gonna do or what Miyamoto meant by that, but I just took it as we're probably gonna have it, but it's not gonna be the main focus. If it just ends up being like digital or something like that, that's just what it's going to be. But our main focus is making a new experience. And since the Wii, they've kind of always had a different kind of experience, like with the motion controls, and the Wii U had the gamepad, and of course the Switch still has the motion stuff, and it's a handheld and home console at the same time. So they've always had some kind of gimmick, and obviously they want to think of something new for the next system, and that's where their focus is going to be. And then it's going to be backwards compatibility after that. That's the way that I took it, not so much that they're not going to do it at all. It would be stupid to not do that with how successful the Switch was, but it's Nintendo, so you never know. The one thing we do know, though, is that the Steam Deck is hot. Like, literally, it can get pretty hot. But there is a new dock that's on the horizon that promises to drop the temperature of the Steam Deck. It's by a company called Unitech, and it's called the Cooling Dock Pro, and it also supports up to 8K video as well. So that's kind of cool, get it? Cool. But from this article, it seemed like in some cases it dropped the temperature of the Steam Deck, at least while you're using the dock, up to 10°C. The article also mentioned overheating and the console crashing because of overheating, but personally, I've never had that happen. I mean, throttling, yes, when the temperature gets hot, it's going to throttle the performance. So that can gain you some extra performance, but I've never had it crash because it overheated. Like, that's just never happened to me personally. I don't play it docked a lot. I did for the video recently, but I've just never had an issue where it's overheated and shut down because it's overheating. My Steam Deck's been fine as far as that. I'd be interested to know if you've ran in situations where your Steam Deck has gotten that hot where it's actually shut down. Like I said, for me, it's been perfectly fine and I play it all the time. But if you are wanting to get some extra performance, at least out of docked mode, then that is an option. It's also $30 more than the standard Steam Deck dock, the one that Valve makes, and it doesn't come with the charging cable like Valve's does. So it's expensive, but you do get like 8K video output, and of course you do get the extra cooling, and the fan has RGB on it, so it looks cool. But you know what was never cool? What we're talking about in our final story, and that's Google Stadia. That was kind of rude, I'm sorry. But the refunds have officially began rolling out, so now we know a little bit more about how the process is gonna work. If you purchase 20 or less items, you'll get an email for each refund that has been processed, which is kind of annoying. I wish they would have made that lower, maybe like 10. But if you purchase 21 or more, then they'll just roll everything up into one email and kind of summarize everything that's been refunded. So that's how it's gonna work. The refunds have already started rolling out. And again, the refunds were just for game purchases, not for subscription time. That's not being refunded. And also, I believe you can send the controllers back as well and get a refund. I believe they're also asked about possibly unlocking the controller so it can just be used as a regular Bluetooth controller, but they haven't really commented on it or committed to anything as far as the controller. So for right now, it's fairly useless, except for in wired mode, if you want to use it that way. And also they're refunding it to the original payment method on the Google account that it was purchased. So if you terminate that Google account, then you'll probably need to get in touch with their support to get that refund rolled out to you. So that's what's going on with the Stadia refunds. RIP Stadia is gone and mostly forgotten after it released. But you know what I'm not gonna forget to do? And let's get out of here for the day. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that Nintendo will do backwards compatibility for the next system? Do you think that Steam Deck dock is necessary, and have you had any overheating issues? And are you waiting for a Google Stadia refund? Again, let me know in the comments. I'll bring this video to a close, but if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I drop a video, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.